Hello guys and welcome. This is your main man Chukatron back at you with another video review. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review on this guy from the Earthrise War for Cybertron line. It's my favorite Transformer, Megatron. We're going to unbox this. We're going to compare him with the original Siege version and also the almighty Netflix version. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy videos like this. Also hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and to keep up with the Chukatron channel, don't forget to hit the notification bell. So without further ado, let's check this out. Alright guys, before I take him out of the packaging, let's take a look at it. First of all, we notice him nicely displayed on the front there, and he has all the G1 styling on him. It looks like they redid the mold on his chest and all that. Mine seems to be facing up towards the moon somewhere, so this is how I got him. If we take a look on the side here, we notice that we do have some nice new artwork of the character there, and we notice there it looks like he's crouching and he's pissed off and he's trying to find the arc that's on his hologram here. So that looks really awesome. On the other side we have the nice Earthrise War for Cybertron artwork, and when we take a look at the back, we notice there we have him in his robot mode and his alternate mode. So that's the packaging. Up top there it is. Let's open this thing up. Okay guys, so here's a look at Megatron with the inside bubble. We have a closer look now at his accessories that come with him there. There's the front of it, there's the side of it, and he does come with that red translucent plastic that you can use for the background on the packaging. And there's the back. He also comes with his instructional pamphlet. It looks to be the same, almost like the Siege War for Cybertron Megatron, so I think it's going to be pretty much the same transformation. There's a look at that. Alright, so I don't normally do this, but I'm going to take a look at the part of the map that comes with the back side of the box, because when I noticed it here, there's actually like a planet on this side. So if we look close at it, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that says Cybertron. So I'm assuming that this is the center part of the map, that this piece hooks up to all the other ones. So that's a nice thing. Alright guys, now that I have the figure out of the packaging, my first impressions are, man, I really like this figure so far. Taking a look at it now, we notice that I think he looks way better out of the packaging than in the packaging. And we'll take a look at the front there. We notice that he does have a new head sculpt modeled after the original G1 cartoon, which I was very iffy about because, like I said, looking at the promotional pictures and the packaging, the way he looked in it, I didn't like the face initially, but now that I have it out, I think it looks way better. You notice that he does have some like more defined creases right there on the face. And we notice he has the eyes are a bit separated, which I thought was weird, but once you hold him at an angle, yeah, he kind of looks cooler now. So I wasn't too crazy about the head, but now I do like it. And we notice that we do have a new midsection there, which is modeled after the original G1 toy look and the original cartoon look. So he does have that front part right there with the nice Decepticon logo. Really nice. On the top here, it looks like they fixed the part where his neck would pop up. So if you notice on the sides there, it has like these two tabs that safeguard it from popping out all the way. So thank you guys for listening to that, Hasbro, because that was a pain in the butt in the other versions. We notice on the ab area, he does have the vents that are painted in this dark metallic color right here, which I think looks great. I wish they kind of would have added the red on the sides like the G1 cartoon and all that, but they didn't. But that's okay, because, you know, I'm pretty sure the Netflix version, if they do come out with it, it's probably going to be like that. On the midsection, we do have these little details painted. We notice that the crotch area doesn't have any battle damage, which I think looks great. The legs, we have this, you know, the same legs it looks like from the Siege version, that dull gray. On the shins here, we notice that we do have the battle damage, which I wish they wouldn't have had, because it's like that's the only spot that has the battle damage. But I mean, it doesn't take too much away from the figure, but that's what it is. On the feet there, I don't really like the feet too much. It looks really plain. So we notice there that has some silver painting on the middle part right there, and that's about it. We look at the arms. They look like the same exact arms from the Siege version, which we're going to compare it with soon. We notice that the back piece here is black though, so that's different. On the other side, the same thing as well. When we look at the legs here, we notice that they redid the legs here for like a tank tread type thing. And the back here, we notice that he does have that backpack, which is redesigned like a realistic tank treads. And on the bottom of the back legs, we notice that right here we have like battle damage. Not really battle damage, it's like a bronze paint splatter. So I'm assuming it's meant to like have like dirt and stuff like that, simulate like dirt damage or whatever. And on the side there we have that nice Decepticon logo. So overall, I think it looks great. I think it really looks great, and I dig it, you know what I mean? Like, people were like griping about it, and I was kind of griping about it, but I think overall the design looks great. All right, so let's go over the articulation points now. I'm assuming it's gonna be the exact same thing like the Siege version. So start off at the head. It does go around 360 degrees, can pivot forward and back, and thank God for those tabs that the head does not pass that point when you actually tilt it upwards like that. Like the old version would just pop that lip up and just look horrendous. The arms do rotate around 360 degrees, and they do rotate around a lot better than the Siege version because it doesn't have this back tab that the other one did. We'll check that out with the Siege version in a minute. Can go out and in. The arms can rotate 90 degrees at the elbow. Arms can tilt inward a bit due to the transformation. The waist can rotate 360 degrees. Yep, all the way around. Legs can go out and in. Does have the thigh swivel joint. The knee bends about 90 degrees forward and back. And the foot does have that ankle pivot point right there. So all in all, awesome. Alright guys, now onto the first accessory, which is the fusion cannon that he comes with. So if we notice it there, right off the bat, it looks just like a scope for a gun. On the front here, there we have some detailing on the barrel side. On the tip there, we have a porthole, which we can put the blast effects on. And this one's a little bit different because it looks like a hexagon shape on the tip there. And in the midsection, we notice it has all the details right there on one side, and on the other side, it has a little detail of a screw and nut right there, and a little screw right there. And it looks very similar to the G1 figure on that respect there. That's pretty cool. And on the end here, we notice that where the scope would go to, and it would have the adjustable piece here, like in the original figure, had all that. So if you haven't seen the G1 review that I did of Megatron way back when, go check it out. It's a little bit dated, but I think you could take a look at this and see for yourself. So that's really cool, and I really do like this accessory. Alright guys, now on to the next accessory. This is the other accessory he comes with, and it's like a spear slash sword on the end here, slash halberd, whatever you want to call it. So you can have this weapon as a sword on Megatron's the side of his arm, or actually him holding it like a gun. So we'll take a look at the top point here. We notice that it's modeled right after the original G1 sword that Megatron came with, which is really nice. But on the other half of it, we see there the front of the tank point there, and on the whole front here is just basically the cannon. So that's really weird. In the midsection, it does have this detachable piece, which will become the back end of the alt mode. So we notice there it has a nice detailing of like vents, and this will become the back of the midsection of the alt mode for Megatron. And taking a look at this, we notice that it's made with the same gray plastic as Megatron, with a lot of little detailing on the barrel, on the tip, and on the front there. So I mean, if that's what you like, you can have it hold them as a gun, or you can have them like a sword on the side there. I'm not really a fan of this accessory, but there's a look at it. So here's a look now at the Earthrise version, and I've also brought out the original Siege version that came out. So right off the bat, we notice the differences there. He does have the new head sculpt modes He does have that new chest section there. The arms look pretty much the same. The red detailing on the middle of the arms here, we notice that it's a little bit more glossy on the Siege version than in the Earthrise version. It's more like a duller paint. If we notice the scopes there, or the fusion blasters, we notice that the new one does look more like an actual gun scope. On the original Siege one, it looks more like it's trying to be a gun scope, but both of them do look the same. I do prefer the original scope way more than this one. When we notice that the crotch sections there, the new one, there's a whole new mold for that than in the Siege one, and they pretty much both look really great. I mean, now that I have the actual Siege one next to it, I think it looks really good for what it is. On the feet there, you notice that the feet are the same, but the actual shins there are different. The bottom section of the legs are different, obviously. They're two different types of tanks. And the one on the Earthrise, the backpack on the Earthrise one is actually a lot bigger than the Siege version, if we notice there. And I do prefer the Siege version a little bit more. It looks a little bit more clean, more compact. And if we notice on the backpack section as well, there's no detailing on the Earthrise one. When we see the Siege one, we have some silver paint there on the top, so I think that's really nice. So just to look at them comparatively speaking, now that I look at them and I have them both here, I think they both look really good. Me personally, I do prefer the Earthrise one a little bit more. I'm glad that they did get rid of the battle damage paint there, which I was gonna take off of this one. I don't understand why they didn't just take it off with this part here. They should have just gotten rid of it, but I'm thinking I'm going to take the paint off of both of them just to see how they look. And there it is. All right, now to compare him with one of the best Megatrons that we've ever seen in Transformers in a long time. So even though this is the Siege version of Megatron, this is the Netflix Siege version of Megatron, which is the same figure as the regular one. It just completely changes the paint job and the tones of the paint and the colors of the plastic. So this happens to be one of my favorite Megatrons. So I love this Megatron, and he's a tough one to beat because even though he is the same one as the Siege figure, the style of this figure changes it completely. I mean, like, I saw this figure and I'm like, wow, this figure happens to be one of my favorite figures. And for me, going from the original Siege version and going to this, it's like, wow, man, it made such a huge difference. I mean, I didn't like this figure when I got it and I was a bit disappointed, but when I got this one, I was like, wow, I love this figure. And so if we take a look at them, we went over the same things, what's the same and what's different, but I just wanted you guys to take a look at it because some people are a little bit iffy about the Earthrise version, which I was. So I ended up purchasing this one once I saw production photos of this. But to be honest with you, the Netflix version is in and of itself in another dimension. It's not even like, you can't even put another figure next to this one and from the Earthrise line into this line, because it just, to me, it just, the paint job on this just transcends it to a different type of styling for the toys in the War for Cybertron line. So one thing I didn't mention is that the hands on Earthrise are actually different. So if we notice there, it does have like a hexagon porthole. The hands are also molded differently than the Siege line. So there's a look at them. I know people are debating whether they should get one or the other. Me personally, I do prefer overall as a standalone figure, this Megatron is the best. But to compare it with like the Earthrise Optimus Prime, you have to go with this one because this figure in itself, it just blows all the other figures from the line out of the box. I mean, it doesn't even match up. It looks like a complete different genre of figures. So it's awesome and it's great, but it really does stand alone as one of the most awesome Megatrons we've ever seen. So there's a look at them on the front, and we'll turn it around, take a look at it on the back just to take a look, and there's that. So in a versus fight, like I said, we can't even compare because this figure, even though it is the same as a regular Siege, it just adds a whole different dimension. to the character. So I love this figure still. I like this figure still, but personally, I think this one is a greater figure. Alright guys, so now we're going to transform him into his tank mode, assuming it should be the same way like the Siege Megatron, so let's do this. Alright guys, now that I have it here in the tank mode, my first impressions are I really do like this tank mode, and I think they did a good job at adapting this as a tank. So let's start off by taking a look at the top there. We notice that the top section there, we have some detailing on the side here, which is new. It looks like some kind of side arms for the tank. On the front there, we have some nice detailing on the side there, these little marks. The barrel looks really good on the front section. We notice the black tip there. On the other side, the same thing as well. Now, similar to the Siege line, we do have this exposed scope that's on the top there, which kind of looks goofy, but what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know how they could fit that any other way. The top can rotate 360 degrees. Unfortunately, you can't tilt the barrel up or down, which kind of sucks. We'll look at the bottom section now. We'll start at one side of the treads here. We notice the side there, it does have that battle damage, more noticeable now than it was before. And I think it looks okay, you know, in this mode, it looks all right. I wish they wouldn't have done it on the leg section, but I guess this is why they had to have it. So on the side there, we have the letters D16, the letters and numbers D16. Now that is to represent Megatron's number on the original figure. His number was D16 on the catalog, on the Japanese Takara version of Megatron, which is really nice. If you know that, you'll know why it's there. So we have the detailing here with the treads and the wheels, which I think looks good. We turn it over to the front here. We notice we have some detailing of where the driver would go, and we have this little part right here. All this looks really nice. On the other side as well, we notice that we do have the Decepticon insignia right there. On the back, we noticed that the part that was a part of the lance ends up popping off and snapping into this part to give it more of a closed look, which I think is awesome because I didn't like that whole open look that the other two figures do have. Unfortunately, we still have the feet sticking out. I kind of wish that this would have went into transformation and kind of hid under there, but it is what it is. On the bottom there, we see Megatron's head exposed. We have some detailing here on the inside of the tank, but it doesn't look too bad. And we noticed that the battle damage on the bottom, the muddier kind of paint right there, is kind of like a brownish copper look. So there it is. Overall, I do like this tank mode way better than the other two. So let's bring them in and check them out with it. Alright, so here's a look at the Earthrise Megatron and the Siege Megatron side by side. So we noticed there, the similarities and the difference. The barrel here obviously is different, and I do like this version of the barrel, even though it's not like a realistic representation. What I tend to do is put this in the back of Megatron to give him more of the G1 look that he had in the cartoon with the barrel on his back, but I'm probably going to end up doing that. But there's a look at it there, and we notice the front is way different. It does have the lights painted on the front there, and obviously I prefer realistic tanks compared to the more sci-fi looking tank that this one is. I mean, it is what it is. It's still nice, but I do prefer this version of the Earthrise version better than the Siege version, and it kind of looks very bland. So if we look at the back there, we notice the open cavity is now a little bit closed on the back, which I think looks nice. So overall, I do think that the Earthrise version is a way better version. So let's take a look at him with the Netflix version. All right, so here is Earthrise with the Netflix version of Megatron, and this figure is hard to beat. I mean, the paint job on it is incredible. So we'll look at the Netflix version. We notice we have that nice metallic paint that's on the front and on the side of the treads, which really looks good. But there's a look at both of them, and I still do think that this Earthrise version in tank mode is still better than the Netflix version. So that's where he wins, in my opinion, in both ways. I mean, the Netflix version is a great version, and it really is nice, but I do think that the tank mode in the Earthrise version is better. So there's a look at them on the side, right there, the back end, and on the other side, and we could take a look at the bottom as well. So we notice that the Siege version, Netflix version, is much more concealed, and the Earthrise version a little bit more out there. Like I said, you're not going to look at it from the bottom, but there's a look at him. And in my opinion, once again, I just do think that the Earthrise one looks better in this mode. So there's my unboxing and review on the Earthrise Megatron figure. Overall, this ended up being my favorite out of the 3 figures. I love the fact that they paid a great homage to the original G1 Megatron. Even though he's not a gun, I think this figure is great and stands out from all the other 3. Till next time, this is Chukatron signing out, saying peace, love, harmony, God bless. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, chances are you'll enjoy another one. Hit the subscribe and notification bell for more Chukatron content.